and welcome to Growing Together in Grace. I'm Kathy.
I'm Ellen.
And today we have our husbands with us as guests. So welcome, Jason.
Chad. Oh my goodness.
We made it.
So this episode, we decided to have Chad and Jason on here because we were going to ask them some questions and we wanted them to tell you all how they remember how they met us.
Because we did an episode on how we met them. It's titled How We Met Your Father, right?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Jason
He'll title it. Okay.
We were trying to figure that out. So we're going to see if our stories line up. Also, it's a quiz to see how much they remember. And if they fail, they're sleeping outside.
I'm going to go ahead and head out. Get my bed ready.
Outside of what? That's the question.
So you have to understand, before we started, it was about 5 minutes of goofing off and laughing before we got started on this podcast. So.
Okay, so what we'll do then is just ask some questions, and we'll start with you, Chad. Chad. So.
Uh-oh.
And Chad, he's got a long time to remember because he's a little bit older than us.
That's right. Just for clarification's sake, I asked her to go with me on May 9th of 1990. Okay, so
that was the term.
I don't know
then.
when this is going to actually be published, but that was a minute ago.
So it'll be after that for sure. After.
Okay, so sorry for interrupting.
I was 5.
Thanks for making me feel
be quiet.
So good.
And he was like 3.
Yep.
Yep. Right now,
I feel
I'm
old.
thinking about all the Christian love I have for you guys.
I feel old now.
You asked her officially May
9th. May the 9th.
Okay. So before you asked her, when were you dating someone?
So I guess it depends on how you use the word dating. So in the 80s and 90s, if you wanted someone to be your quote unquote girlfriend or boyfriend, you would ask them to go with you. That's what it was called. We were going together. So yes, there was a girl that I was going with. The irony is, just like many high school kids, even today, is we didn't go anywhere. It was just the way to say that we were exclusive towards each other.
Going steady? Is that what they called it? Back?
So yes, that was further back, and they dropped the steady because that was what old people said.
Right.
Yep.
Or you would write notes to each other and be like, "Hey, you want to go out? You want to go on a date?" And y'all are looking at us like, "What?"
I actually wrote notes, but I was in like junior high.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Regardless of all that, yes, there was a young lady with whom I was considered to be going together, and then we broke up, and I don't remember the exact timing. I want to say something like late March, early April, ish.
Yeah.
Okay, so
sounds about right.
So, but when you were going with this other lady, did you know Ellen?
I mean, only on a periphery. There was There was a situation where one day there wasn't a teacher in the classroom, and so a bunch of idiots started throwing stuff out the window on the second floor. And
like high school
I remember,
yes.
like just high school idiots. Yes, of course.
Desks,
and I was
chairs.
a junior in high school, and I recall distinctly. I was the class clown, so. Me and another guy, we grabbed Ellen, but I didn't know her at the time.
Was it National Short People Day?
I mean, it might have been when you consider.
I just happened to be in the room.
I think it was later in the year. I want to say it was January-esque, and we all know National Throw a Short Person Day is October 21st.
Oh my gosh.
But nonetheless, we grabbed her and we pretended to swing her. I had her legs and he had her arms, and we did the old 1, 2, like we were gonna throw her out the window. Yeah, I mean, like
it was just
first
a
of all,
story.
The window was not at eye level. The window was probably at least 6.5 feet high.
Because they were chunking desks and
even
chairs outside.
Wait, I'm sorry. You didn't say what you were throwing. You were throwing desks.
No, time out.
Yeah.
Not you.
Okay, that's right.
There were students who threw desks and stuff out the window.
Oh, you didn't?
So I didn't throw anything.
Oh, okay.
The only thing I got close to throwing, and I really wasn't even close, I thought it would be funny to pretend to throw a person, especially if the person was a freshman, and wasn't quite sure if I was joking or not, right? I mean, the best joke. Okay, time out. I'm an oldest child, okay? When you become an oldest child, you learn the art of manipulation and fear. That's just the way it works, okay? In fact, if my brothers are watching this, they're right now going, yeah, that's right. That's exactly what he did. He manipulated and scared us. Anyway.
It's a great impression of both of your brothers.
Thank you. If you only knew. No fail. Don't happen. So anyway, I thought it would be hilarious to pretend to throw this girl out the window. And it just so happened the girl we grabbed was one that was petite. So I knew who she was, but I didn't know who she was until the fateful day when I sat next to her. But that was long after Yasmin and I had parted ways.
Yeah.
So I'm jumping over here to you, Ellen. Mm-hmm. When he was going to throw you out the window, what were you thinking?
I don't know what I was thinking, to be quite honest with you, because the whole situation was crazy. Like, there was a bunch of boys. They were all boys, and a lot of them were in my class.
They were all 9th and 10th
graders.
Yeah,
most of them were in my class, and there was no teacher in there, so they were just being They were just being dummies, and they were just picking up stuff like desks, chairs. I want to say they were throwing textbooks out the window. And so we're just standing, the girls are just standing there like, what are y'all doing? Y'all, a lot of us were like, y'all are stupid because y'all are going to get in trouble. A teacher's going to come in here. Y'all all are going to get detention. And back then when we went to school, it was Pops.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they paddled people.
Yeah, they paddled people at our church. At our school. And so we're like, y'all are stupid. And so I happened to be the closest girl standing to all of them.
To be fair, she was the closest cute girl.
Oh, please.
I wouldn't have thrown somebody that was ugly.
Because they would have deserved that.
I didn't want to be accused of that.
I wasn't really going to throw her. Why would I waste a pretty one?
So I guess you thought I was cute then.
So then, Ellen, did that make you oh, I don't like this person. I'm going to stay far away from this person. He was mean, trying to throw me out the window. Or were you like, he's a bad guy?
I actually did not know who he was. I saw him.
She was one of the few, by the way. All the ladies knew who I was.
Because you were with the popular group, by the way. You hung out with the popular group. I did not hang out with the popular group, but I didn't really know who he was because he actually came to our school in the middle of the semester, right? Because you were still at Bel Air. You came in the middle of the semester.
Yes.
Yeah.
I came in the middle of the first semester, yes.
Yeah, so I didn't know who he was.
From a big high school here in the Houston area.
Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't really know who he was. I saw him, but I didn't know what his name was and I didn't know who he was. Yeah, until that day.
So you mentioned she was a freshman. So what?
I was a junior.
Okay, so you're 2 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
In school, we're 2 years apart.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So after this, when would you say you started to really like her and were interested in trying to see if you could go together?
So, like she mentioned before, we had paddling at our school, and at the risk of making this too long, I won't go into the unjust reasons why my ridiculous science teacher decided out of nowhere. Okay, I will go into. Here's the deal.
Is this Joshua's math teacher?
No.
Okay.
He had to do.
So did you get paddled by every teacher?
No.
Okay.
We'll get there. So, all right, so I'll try to make this concise. Here's the deal, okay? And every guy who's been in high school and is listening to me understands this, okay? At high school, when you're a guy and you have to go number 2, you don't just go to any bathroom, okay? No. Like, you know which bathrooms you're okay to go number 2 in.
That's not just high school. That's life in general.
I know.
That's a life skill.
I'm just trying to say, I'm putting myself in my mindset.
Okay.
So, one fine morning, I probably May 5th-ish, I had to go number 2. And so I left my first period class. I went and did my business. And at
in the
time,
church bathroom.
yes, I didn't go to the bathroom that was in the school. I went
walked
down
to the church,
all the way to the
where the
church to go to the
sanctuary
bathroom
was in the
because the
bathroom.
bathroom in the school was ridiculous. There were no stalls. Yeah, there were 3 toilets, but no stalls. Yeah, so of course you understand the problem right off the bat. Regardless,
Way back in the day, they hadn't invented
and
stalls.
it took me about 15-ish minutes because you got to figure about a 3-minute walk to the restroom, a few minutes on there, and I found a newspaper. That's how old we're talking. Okay, I found a newspaper, and of course, in high school, when you're doing that business, you read the sports page. That's the way it works. Okay. So figure 3 minutes to the bathroom, which is 3 minutes of walking in a school is actually pretty far when there's nobody in your way. About 8 minutes in there and about 3 minutes back. And supposedly my teacher, whose name I will not mention, but he was not well liked, came looking for me and didn't find me. And I didn't realize it at the time. He said, "Hey, you need to come see me after school." This is the first period of the day. I happen to be the same guy that I am now, which means if you don't give it to me in writing, it's probably not going to happen, okay? So I forget. I go home, do my, life as general. The next morning, he accosts me and says, "You didn't come yesterday, so you're getting paddled." I'm like, what? And, I was 17. I'd been 17 for about a month and a half. And I was full of myself. And so, I was like, why are you going to hit me because I didn't come? I don't understand. Like, can't you imagine? Anyway, regardless of all this.
You gave him a little bit of sass back.
No, I gave him a lot.
Yeah.
I said things like, does it make you feel good to hit 17-year-old boys?
He was not being respectful.
I'm guessing that didn't help.
It did not. It did not.
It did
Because
not
at that
help.
point, so they were allowed to give you two swats. And at that point, he wanted to call my father to get permission to give me more than 2.
His dad was on the school board.
Yeah. So my dad, God rest his soul, and being as wise as he was, knew. And I was a pretty big guy. I probably weighed about 225, and there wasn't much that
You played
jiggled.
football.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was like pow, 225,
Yeah.
230. So none of the men at the school could have forced me to submit. I had to submit willingly. My dad says, I'm not asking you to do this for their sake. I'm asking you to do this out of respect for me, which was really wise on his part because he knew how much I respected him. So I submitted. So at the end of that school day, he goes and he gets the teacher you were talking about. I don't know if we want to mention his name or not, but he's the one who actually. So if you assigned a discipline at that school, you didn't get to carry the discipline out. Somebody else did, which makes sense. That's and so he gives me 3 good whacks.
And the
with
paddle was.
Well, I mean, it was a paddle.
Yeah.
It was a thick wooden paddle with holes in it.
So they did get permission to give you the extra swat then.
Oh yeah, my dad.
He signed off on it.
I mean,
Go for
we're from old school. Like,
Yeah.
like if they're chopping off a limb, they're probably giving you the discipline you deserve. I mean, that's the way
Yeah.
it was back in the day. So the worst part about all of it, and I don't know why they were so short-sighted. This was a Christian private school. Although public schools could paddle as well, but this was a Christian private school. After they give you 3 whacks with the guy who held a record for a rowing championship. Okay.
Which
So he's
means
used a paddle before.
Yes.
and he's probably got some.
Yes.
And so he gives me 3 whacks, and then they put their arms around my shoulders and they pray with me that this lesson will be well learned. So, of course, I'm not only is my behind on fire, but my emotions are also on fire, and I'm really mad.
Yeah.
But I've already gotten in trouble for peeling out of the school parking lot in
his
my car.
It's peeled out of
So
it.
I decided, as mad as I was, it was probably not smart to go straight to my car. So I went downstairs, and there happened to be a young lady that I knew who was a cheerleader, and I think she was a freshman. I don't remember.
She was in my class.
Alethea?
Yes.
Yes, Alethea.
Did she throw out the window material? Or?
You know, maybe.
He doesn't remember what she looks
Yeah,
like.
I mean,
vaguely.
yeah. To be fair, I don't remember what any woman I met before my wife looks like. Okay, I'm
the right
just,
answer.
I'm just saying.
I know, right?
She,
I love
she has
it.
blanched them all from my memory with her beauty.
Oh.
So I happen to sit down against the wall. I'm leaning against the wall, and this is a private school, but it also happens to be the school at the church where I spent all of my life until I was 17 and a half-ish or 18. So I know this building well. This is a Wednesday night. This was a Wednesday after school.
Yeah.
So probably the 6th. We're probably talking the 6th. That's probably pretty accurate. Or maybe the 7th, something like that, of May. And so I sat down across from Alethea because I knew her, and Ellen was sitting. No, I didn't sit right next to her, but we're sitting relatively close, like close enough that it didn't feel awkward, but also, not too far to have a conversation.
He came down. His face was red.
Oh yeah,
I knew he was mad.
And so then I just started talking about what happened, and I probably was pretty sarcastic about it, and I think that's when Alethea kind of introduced me to who Ellen was, and immediately I recall I was a bit smitten. And so I go and so for a long time I had a crush on her cousin who was dating a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Did you have a crush on her when she was dating your friend?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, like, look, this was the 80s. We had songs like Jesse's Girl, which was a whole song about having a crush on your best bud's girlfriend, okay?
Right.
Like, so.
Yeah.
But you went to a Christian school, so you didn't know the song. You just knew it existed.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I only knew songs and hymns. That's all I knew.
That's right.
And Petra, which was, but that's a whole other issue.
I saw them live once on accident. I saw them live once on accident. Petra. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is that the
Accident?
concert
Well,
your mom
hey,
took
it's
you
nice
to?
to know that you and I will be in the same place together.
Okay.
Oh my God.
The backyard. 'Cause we can't
Anyway,
sleep. Okay, go ahead.
and so that was kind of the beginning. We started talking right then, and I think that night she gave me her number, and I think that night we talked for
A long time.
2 hours, 2.5 hours, something like that.
And then you invited me to church.
Yeah, I did invite her to church. So I don't remember. I feel like that was a Wednesday, but I invited her to church, and that was just kind of the beginning. Yep, of course.
And he had 2 other girls come too.
Time out.
Gotta play none.
Time
Okay.
out. 2 other girls that I did not
He
invite.
did not invite. Let's get that straight.
So
yes.
time out. I feel like that day was not a Wednesday because it was the next day. I feel like that was Wednesday when word got out that I had invited her to church, and that's when
There were a lot of people that did not agree with
Was
That's
that
when
her
sudden-
ex-girlfriend
yes,
coming?
Yeah.
that was one of them. She showed up randomly, so that's why I feel like that day wasn't a Wednesday. I mean, I'm sure we could go back and look at the calendar and see.
But then a girl that he had been talking to at camp the previous year, she randomly came too.
Yeah, she randomly
So you got
showed
all
up
the
as well.
girls.
He had
I mean,
3 girls.
What can I say? Some guys can pull them.
Gosh.
I don't know what to say.
So, I'm curious. Are you still friends or no?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. No.
No. Like I don't.
Like you're not even.
I don't think we really had friendships. I did not have friendships, really solid friendships with either one of those girls.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think if I had, it might have been a different situation. But
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And there you have it.
And there it is. And a few days later,
I don't. Oh, okay. I was the one.
I wagged the dog a little bit. I kind of, well, hey, do you like me? And she's like, well, yeah, I do like you. And I was like, well, I haven't decided if I like you yet.
That's what he said to me.
I know.
He goes, I don't know yet.
There's a couple of girls that came to church that night.
So. To be fair, she's standing there while I'm changing the tire on my car because I had a flat in the parking lot at school. So
I was so embarrassed. I was like, really?
Right, but I think it was like the next day that I asked her to go with me. So it wasn't like I dangled
Did you
her
call
out there.
me that night? Because then
Probably.
I was like,
yes,
not
I called
happy.
You that night. I called you.
So by calling, it wasn't cell phones, correct?
No. No. But
They
only
were
rich people had cell phones.
They were landlines. Now I had my own phone line.
Yeah.
My
She
dad
did have
worked
her
for the
own
telephone
phone line.
company, so he gave me my own phone line.
That's the move.
Yeah. So that was the thing back then, was if you had your own phone line, you were cool. So
Yeah,
and I had
I
my
was
daddy
not
that worked for
cool.
the phone company.
I didn't have my own, but it just meant nobody else in my house could use the phone. So.
If you were on it.
Yeah, unless your mom got on the phone and said, Chad, I need to use the phone.
Well, I mean, to be fair, when we were talking on the phone, it's like from 9 o'clock till 11:30.
Yeah.
And my parents were old; they weren't getting on the phone after 9 o'clock. They were then my age now, right?
Right. Oh my gosh.
I don't get on the phone after 9 o'clock. I barely text, but that's only because I know you can read it whenever you wake up, right?
Right.
So,
But even though we started going out, I wasn't allowed to go out.
yeah, she wasn't allowed to go anywhere.
My parents were really strict.
So the only real thing, we held hands and kind of hugged at school, and then
Kind of
we.
hugged.
I mean, I had my arm around.
It's like a youth group
So
hug.
there happens to be a teacher that you know of who lectured me about putting my arm around her. And I recall distinctly, young man, you always have your arm around her. Like, do you think you're going to marry her or something? And I remember saying, well, yeah, I do think. Well, you're a fool to think that. You're 17 years old. Do you really think? I don't want to imitate his accent because it's a lot more like Scottish-y, I feel like. But but I was just trying to give the random UK accent right there. So
I was going to say Florida, but
I
was
do
close.
accents as well.
Oh, goodness. He does a really good Russian accent.
Yeah, he does.
That is true. I do decent
Okay.
Russian accent. Sorry.
Stop.
And for the rest of the podcast,
Oh, my
you're going to do it.
goodness.
That'd be great.
Anyways,
Like,
yeah. But
Did you have to talk because her parents are strict? Did you have to talk to her parents?
Oh yeah, multiple times. I mean, so that summer we went to youth camp together with the church, and her mom talked to the youth leader to make sure we didn't cause no trouble. We're worried about her, but it was cool. I mean, at the end of the day, I was not doing things untoward, especially in those situations. So I think I talked to them when I asked her to go to homecoming with me. In the fall.
Was that when your dad?
is that when my dad walked me?
Yes.
All the way to
It was at the Galleria. Our homecoming was at the Galleria,
Yes.
which is a big venue.
Yeah.
And he walks her up with shorts and sandals on,
And he wouldn't leave. He stood there. I'm like, bye, Dad. Bye.
And I don't recall. I don't think I could take you home that night, right? He picked you up that night, or
wow.
that night I
think-
was allowed to take you home.
Yeah, but I had
couldn't
to be
pick her
home by a
up.
certain time.
I couldn't pick her up, but I could take her home.
But I had to be home by
Right, but I had to have her home by 10 o'clock, which for a homecoming, dance is pretty early.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But
regardless, it's okay. And then for prom, I did have to talk to him again, and because I really wanted to pick her up and take her home for prom.
yeah.
And
Was prom at the Galleria or no?
No, I don't remember where
I don't
prom
remember
was.
where it was.
It wasn't called prom, but that's what it was.
Junior, senior banquet.
Yeah, when you're at a private Christian school. It's
not.
Everything's got a different name.
I mean, it's not a dance.
We can't call it a dance.
Yeah.
I went to a Christian basketball camp. Instead of sudden death for tournaments, they called it sudden life. And that's 100% true. Sudden life.
Sudden
It
life.
wasn't that one team died. It was another team got life.
Oh my goodness.
Another team was reborn.
Yeah, something like that.
That's weird.
It was 100% weird.
That's
Don
weird.
Eddie.
But I will
basketball camp,
say,
that's what it
like, and I don't think this is offensive to anyone who's still around, but you know, my wife's parents are immigrants. They're both not from this country, so you know, here I am, white boy Chad, growing up.
Could not understand them.
We're the white trash of Bel Air at my house, okay? And you know, I'm talking to these folks that are from the Philippines, and they'll say something to me,
and he'll look at me and go,
"Yeah," and I'll look at her to translate. Now they were speaking English, I just didn't understand it, and you know, they'd be like, "I'm trying to think of a good example of something they would say." You know, "Oh, you going to have dinner?" What? She says, "Are you going to have dinner?"
They're
with
asking
us?
if you have
Oh,
dinner.
yes. I'd love to have dinner with you guys. You know, like,
Chad.
yeah. I mean, like,
Okay.
it took a little while for me to understand. So that was
Yeah.
an interesting dynamic.
Yes.
And also, you know, we are an independent people in my house. My parents raised us to be pretty independent.
Mhm.
And that's kind of the opposite of my wife's culture. So,
Yeah.
so there was definitely some angst there at times where my expectation was that my wife would be more independent and she was more subservient to her parents' wishes, which
because that was the culture.
kind of created a little bit of angst.
Yeah,
So
that was the culture that I grew up in, and so at times that was a just sore spot for us sometimes because he just didn't understand why I wouldn't.
Well, before we were married, it was a sore
Yeah.
spot. It wasn't an issue once we were married,
Right.
Because I had her and they didn't, so it didn't matter, you know. In
Yeah.
fact, I recall one time hanging up on them when they were being rude to my wife, and I think that engendered a new level of respect in my in-laws because they recognized that I was the protector they were hoping their daughter would marry. Maybe that's not what happened, but it seemed like there was a new level of respect after that. But,
Yeah, I
but
know. I
before
agree
all
with
that,
you.
there was definitely some angst and frustration at times. So.
Yeah,
So you guys were how old when y'all started dating then?
14 and
I mean, so it depends on what you mean by dating. When we first actually when we went to homecoming together, she was 15 and I was 17.
Okay, so we'll call it then 15 and 17.
17.
You know, I didn't get to pick her up. I could only bring her home, and I had to have her home by a certain time. But yeah, 15 and 17.
Yeah.
Did you guys break up at all? Have any breakup?
We
periods?
did. So
For like 3 hours.
Yep. In my senior year, one day, I don't remember what happened. We got into an argument.
I don't remember.
At school. I don't even remember what it was about.
know.
It was something silly, and she was like, "Well, I don't know if I can deal with this," and I was like, "Me either." You know, this is ridiculous. I'm a senior in high school. It wasn't click. Like, we were face to face, and I was like,
thought
"Well,
we
you
were on
know
the
what?
phone.
I
don't
think
know.
we need to be done." And you're like, "Me too." And then we were done. And then that evening, I don't remember who called who. It may have been me calling her. It may have been her calling me. Like, I really don't recall. And it was one of those, you know, I'm kind of sorry. Yeah, me too. You know, I really didn't mean what I said. Yeah, me either. And that was kind of the end of that. I don't know how formal we made it, but but that was it. But I think that was the end of. We never broke
I don't
up
think
again.
we ever broke up. Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks
it was
for,
good stuff.
Yeah.
I think
And then we got married. Just FYI. So she was 15 and I was 17 when we started dating, and when we got married, I was 21 and she was 19.
Mm-hmm.
all right.
Yeah, I turned 19, and then 6 days later, I got married.
That's
So
right.
my birthday and
That's
my
right.
anniversary are 6 days apart.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? So what you were? No, you did. You just finish high school then?
I
No,
graduated. Well,
it was a year.
a year ago. A year before.
She graduated high school, and I proposed to her the summer after she graduated, and we got married the next summer.
The next summer.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So it was about a year engagement.
And that year, I proposed to her, and she accepted, and I promptly moved to Phoenix, Arizona from Houston, Texas.
I remember you
So
telling me that.
we lived apart for that year
For our
of our
engagement.
engagement. So, by the way, I don't think that while it was challenging, man, I think it was great for our relationship.
Yeah.
More couples should look into that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way they did it in biblical times, by the way. They'd get
That's
engaged and he'd go like set things up and then he'd come back and boom, they were married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they weren't
That's
hanging
true.
out and dating that whole time.
That's
So,
true. That's true.
Anyway,
but yeah.
just a thought to you youngins out there.
Think about taking a trip to Arizona for a year.
Oh, no. Oh.
So I would say that Chad was pretty spot on with how you.
Yeah. Yeah. He did
described
pretty
it.
good.
Well, how
Although-
do you know?
Because she told her story and his, and they're pretty much
Okay, all
like. Although
Okay.
when you said it, he was mad after he got paddled and he stormed downstairs.
Yeah. Well, you. Yeah.
That may be true.
Well,
like, I
because
was
his
not
face
real
was
happy.
red. Yeah, he came down the stairs, but your face was red.
Look, here's how mad I was. That teacher on the last day of school had his tires slashed. I was not part of it.
Oh, okay.
I was not. I was not part of it.
It's just a coincidence.
Well, I mean, no. Here's the thing.
It doesn't matter what you say now. Everyone's going to leave here thinking you actually did it. But go ahead.
I was one of 10 boys. 10 that their final report cards for the year were held until they figured out who did it. And it's because I was mad that day because they figured I also had angst against him, which I kind of did. I mean, I was not.
No, it was somebody else.
I was
that
not
did
super.
it.
Yes,
They
it was
found out who
somebody
it
else.
was.
I mean, I could tell you who it was, but there's no point to disparage him.
Right.
We haven't had communication for a long time.
Did
Yeah.
he get found out, or did they just eventually
I mean,
let it go?
I don't remember.
I don't remember if they found him out. We all knew who it was at
Yeah.
that point.
Well, good on y'all for not
In
telling.
fact, one of my mutual friends, we're still Facebook friends today. His name is Richard Linder. He was not part of it, but I think he was also in the group of people whose report cards was held, and they were asking him.
So
about
there's
it.
8
So
people?
Richard, if you see this, you could chime in with a. Yes, I remember that, and no, I wasn't part of that because I believe. Well, I know who it was, and it wasn't Richard. So
So now the internet
Oh,
knows
no,
there's
it
8
wasn't
people
him.
left that could be.
There's
It's not you.
yeah, I'm
It
not
wasn't
mentioning
No.
all the other people. Trust me, all
was-
those people. First of all, they're probably not watching, but if they were, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I remember." Oh, we're not mentioning the teacher's name. Let's just say he was not very good. Okay, and we'll just leave it at that.
Like he wasn't good as.
yes,
Okay.
He wasn't good at protecting his tires. That's,
yes,
All right, fair
yes.
enough.
Yes.
Let's just leave it at he was not very good.
I-
All right, is it your turn?
yeah,
yeah.
it's y'all's turn. My turn. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing with y'all. So Jason, tell me how you and Kathy, like how you knew Kathy. You're
probably should have prepped on
So-
this. I can
yeah.
get my answers
So
right.
time out before I get going. Hey, can I just point out, Kathy was really good about switching cameras. So
Actually-
I was not.
oh, okay.
he was doing it.
All right, well,
He was
Yeah.
trying to
somebody
help you
needs
out.
I
to switch
got it.
camera angles because I don't need y'all looking at me. Okay.
Okay.
But what if
Yes,
you have to chime in and help Jason?
I wanna know their
How would I help
story.
Jason? I don't know your
I
story.
want to know.
Why are you kicking me? I don't know the answer.
Right. So, Jason, I want to know how you and Kathy met. How did y'all start talking, or did you already know her? So,
And before, like, I'm gonna be a very kind, sweet wife, and just let you know that
There's no wrong answers.
I prefaced when I shared how we met. I mentioned a few of the girls in your life. One of them being the person who thought she was dating you, and so that could help maybe jog your memory. And then my best friend Eugen, who ended up
Time
being
out.
our maid of honor.
The person who thought she was dating you?
There's a story there.
I know. I don't think Chad's ever heard this story.
In
I've
hind-
heard it.
In hindsight, from telling this story enough, I think it might have been on me, not on her.
By the way, how visible do we think these glasses are? Because at this point, I'm thinking I need a refill to hear this story.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
we're
keep going.
on
So
my
sorry.
camera, so people have no idea what you're doing over there. Okay, so when we first, I guess we start when we first met, right? And I remember being in the foyer of our school. I don't even know. It might have been.
I think the correct term is foyer. But
Foyer.
keep going.
The foyer of school. Wow, that was a really decent eye roll. Yeah.
Wait, do you think it was school or county market?
No, you don't. It was. We did not meet at County Market
All right, go on.
Uh-oh. And I see
because
some
I didn't work at County Market
discrepancies.
until, like, I
in
was in
this.
school for a while before starting County Market.
I thought you worked at county market before I did.
I think I did, but that's not where we met.
All right, go on. Okay, that's fine. Go on.
You got a job at County Market because you knew there was a guy there that you wanted to see more often.
Okay.
Well, was that good? Okay, so we were in the foyer at school, and I think it was the day before school started, and it was like the new students coming in welcome thing,
Okay.
so you tell this story about how you were excited because a new girl was coming to the school.
I'm pretty sure
Yes.
she wants you to tell the story, which is
Oh no,
why we're
he's
here.
he's
Okay,
saying that
okay.
when I tell people
Wait, there was a new what at school?
a new girl.
girl.
I thought we were getting a new girl in our
Oh,
class.
Because my
Okay.
last name happens to be a first name of the
Allison.
female variety.
Oh, I see.
Got it.
Oh,
So,
and I'm on student council. So
Anyway, so she's excited, and then she found out it was me, and then she got really excited because she may tell that part different, but there you go. So I think that's when we first officially met,
yes.
Okay.
and then I think we really had like our first conversation probably in study hall, like that lasted more longer than anything else, because you were telling me about your boyfriend. I have a boyfriend, and his name's Dasani. And I'm looking, she's got a Dasani water bottle, the worst of bottled waters, by the way, on the table next to her. And I'm like, I don't think you got a boyfriend named Dasani. His name's Dasani, and he's really cool.
Okay, that's not how that
That's
was
exactly
done.
how the
I
voice
was like,
sounded.
wait a minute.
To be fair,
Wait.
for those of you who don't know, that sounded just like the Kathy that I knew.
Yeah, exactly. She puts on a voice for the podcast, but that's typically how she sounds in real
I
life.
feel like you should almost write this out for me so I could imitate her while you do your part.
That'll be, we have a
I
script.
have a boyfriend, and his name is Dasani.
That'll be a YouTube short for this episode. So anyway, so we had our conversation, and then we had this study hall together, and so we would talk more often. And then we had a friend group. I mean, it was a small Christian school as well,
Sure.
right? So like our friend group was like half of our class basically. But so we were hanging out all the time, and I mean, I don't know how much details to give. We could should we jump to when we started going together? Is that how you say it?
I don't know. What did y'all call it?
Yeah.
at the
What did
time?
y'all call it?
We call
at
it
the
going out.
Going out.
Okay,
Okay.
Even though we didn't go
Same.
anywhere.
Well,
It is now morphed to dating,
so
even though it's the same concept.
Yeah.
I should probably preface, in my family, it was called courting. Now he cringes at that because
I don't wear jean skirts.
So because my
That's rude.
my dad, he's a Southern Baptist pastor, and he spoke at our high school one year and pretty much laid it out there for all the men, all the boys.
Yeah.
Like, if anyone's going to date my daughter, they need to come and talk to me, and we'll sit down and have a conversation,
Yeah.
and then he'll see if they are.
Wow. Sounds like Jason, you should be thinking it.
Yeah,
He
it was-
scared all the other boys.
That's exactly
off,
what it was. I'm
apparently.
taking notes. Like, this
All right.
is easier than
He
some.
scared them all off. Okay. So sorry. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess jump ahead then to. Is that the good first part? Okay, so
Whatever
our-
you want to share.
our friend group is hanging out, and I guess maybe I'll go to the story that you were curious about. That because this kind of ties in. Oh, okay. I'll tell it this way. So July.
This way.
I'm trying to decide. Like you can't. Like where do you start? The story
No,
has to
no,
be
I
compelling.
understand.
Yeah.
You know. So like,
Yeah.
if I start with this, then
like
I'll
we
lead
only
into
have
that
a
and
certain
we-
amount of time. Yes, I
Yeah.
totally get it.
And I want it to
Yeah.
be compelling for your audience.
I had to condense mine down. So you, like a smart guy, have to distill it to the primary portion.
Distill it. Okay. Distill it. Okay. Anyway, so July 4th of some year, when cell phones existed.
Some year.
No. That's like not fair. When did you first? Sorry, I'm jumping in on you.
No, you're
So talk how we met. Now I'm going to talk about how when we started dating or like going out, right?
Like, no, when did you start? When did you think you started to like me? Like, I like her. I'm curious, and because we were pretty like at
y'all
that
were
point,
friends, right?
Yeah,
before
we were we had a friend group,
Okay.
and we were all hanging out, and yeah, I mean throughout that process, I was like, well, this lady's better than all the others,
Well,
and I would like to spend more time with her.
Okay.
Aw.
Oh, you're so sweet.
And she probably had redheaded kids, and that'd be cool. So I didn't say that.
Let me throw in this. Here's the thing. This is the detail that I think would help your
Okay.
July 4th story.
No, it's fine.
By the way, Kathy is
Your
still at the
podcast.
stage of a marriage where she thinks it's appropriate to correct her husband every time he gets something wrong.
I thought that just
No,
kept
go
happening
ahead,
more and
Kathy.
more as you get
Please
older.
tell
Does
us
it
how he
stop at
has
some
it
point?
wrong.
Hey, that's okay because he
It
forgets
does.
sometimes too, and
Yeah.
I was wondering if
That's
he
right.
would forget stuff.
I still forget sometimes.
I just
Women are beautiful
he
creatures.
does forget.
no. I feel like this is a part of the story to help make your July 4th a little bit more appealing.
Just don't give away. Okay, but go ahead.
What
Okay, give me a little hint.
the hint was what I was going to try to explain to you how I was trying to play matchmaker
Okay, okay, I'll tell that
with
part.
two people, and then
Okay,
how
that's
I
fair
liked
enough.
your best
Okay,
friend.
so within our friend group, there's probably like 5 main characters, which we can leave.
There's more than 5.
Well,
but sorry.
for this story, there was more than 5, but there's like 5 that we're talking about here. Right?
Okay.
It was me and my really good friend,
All night. Keep going.
who was a boy,
No, stop.
and she had 2 really good friends who were ladies,
Okay.
and of course, all the ladies liked me, which made things
That's
confusing.
actually true.
Hey, Jason.
She,
That's what we have in common, bro.
But she liked my friend, and my friend liked somebody else who wasn't a part of this conversation. So it's just it's all over the place, right? And so
High school
she's
drama.
Yeah.
so she's playing matchmaker and she still does that, and I don't think it's ever worked yet. Maybe.
Point. Let's not go there.
I don't
Let's
know.
just move
Anyway.
on. Move on.
Anyway, so she's making matchmaker. She's trying to set me up with one of the other 2 girls, but then like she was making her notes about like, oh, he's attractive. Oh, he's smart. He's athletic. And she's like, this is a pretty great guy. And so eventually I think she realized maybe she should try to,
Match him with me.
yeah, there you go. So that's happening, right? And then her good friend really likes me in that moment. The other friend, in hindsight, did. I didn't. That we'll get to that point, but like, yeah. So that's what's going down. She's trying to hook me up with not hook me up, trying to connect me with other people. I didn't
of
mean
all,
that back then, but
so,
it means that now.
right.
Just so you know, hookup has changed in the last 20 years.
That is
Drastically.
correct.
Okay? All right,
Yes.
keep going.
She
So
was
sorry.
trying to make me date them
Right.
without my permission.
connect. She was trying to create a love connection.
She
Yeah,
was.
that's equally weird, but yes.
Especially when you say love connection. Okay, so sorry.
This is Delilah.
Anyways. Delilah. Anyway, bad radio.
Wait, was that
So-
Delilah? Is that love someone tonight. Sorry, that's
Okay. Woo.
okay.
So that's all happening.
Like Delilah, okay?
That's-
Don't
and that's-
knock
I know.
it.
And I wouldn't tell that to
Hey
everyone on the
there,
internet.
Delilah. Oh, sorry.
So this is going down, and so we're all friends hanging out, right, on the weekends and whatever. And
But you like her, and she likes him,
somebody
and
else.
She likes him.
This is like a
Yes.
complicated.
so
Yeah. We
So
don't,
now I'm gonna
I
jump
do
to-
complicated.
I'm gonna
Rectangle.
jump to my, and maybe this will make sense of it, right? Okay, so it's July 4th of some year where they had cell phones. I don't remember what it was, but it was after 1990. And so we are at Walmart because that's where you go to hang out.
Of course. Wait, what town is this?
Small town, Illinois.
Walmart.
Medium town, Illinois.
Is that what it's called?
it's
Small
a-
town?
No, Champaign, Urbana. It's a nice sized town.
Anyway, so we're at Walmart. We're going to run an errand before July 4th is before we're going to go to somebody else's. One of our, actually, it was your house. We were going to go to your house. All of this friend group was going to be there. We were going to hang out and watch fireworks, whatever. And at Walmart is where I decide I was going to ask you if you would like to go out or date or go steady or whatever it was at the time, right? And so I ask you, you're like, yeah, you're attractive, smart, And you didn't say all those things, but that was what your face was saying.
Right.
And so like, yeah, okay, great, let's do it.
You're like, I
What
think
did
you're
you
cute
say?
too.
Yeah.
What did
So-
you say, Kathy?
I want to know what a face looks like that says you're smart and attractive.
It's like, should I show you or the camera?
Show the camera.
Something like that. I mean, I don't know exactly.
Can I just say,
Yes.
you're not allowed to do that again right after I've taken a sip of my drink. Okay? You almost had to clean your glasses after that. 'Cause
Okay,
I just
that's
about
hilarious.
spit on you. Keep going.
So you made that face, and then I was like, "Is that a yes?" And you're like, "Yeah, 1,000 times yes." And then
Wait
it's not exactly that.
Did
but,
you say 1,000 times?
yes. So basically,
No, with a wavering voice,
Yes.
no less.
Actually, no. I don't even think I said yes immediately. I think I said,
you're right.
Hey, I don't know because I thought you liked our other friend.
Yeah.
So you need to deal with that first.
No, it was not that. It was yes, but you need to talk to my dad first.
Oh.
That's what it was. And I was
Okay.
like, well, yeah, that's in the playbook. I know. I have a plan. So, but I was excited because as far as like you were concerned, it was a yes. So we finish at Walmart, and then I guess I drop you off at home, and I have to go home to do some stuff. And then me and my best friend and my other so my best friend who's a guy and my best friend who's a girl. We all
Pause.
No, I'm
You
getting there.
can't have a best friend that's a girl and be a boy.
Well, I know that now.
So just
I mean, you could have when you're 17.
So
When
you can
you're
be
in
a
a
17. Wait, you can be a 17-year-old boy and have a best friend that's a girl, and
what?
like there not be any confusing lines.
Well,
what I'm saying?
no.
you're giving away some
First
of
of
the
all,
story.
time out. Anytime there's a guy and a girl relationship, there are confusing lines. So, like, but you can, if you think your quote unquote best friend might hook you up with somebody else. Like, if you're like, look, I don't have to be super interested in you if I think you might hook me up with your friends. Not that that's the ulterior motive for being friends with them, but I'm just saying, like, it is somewhat feasible. Okay. So sorry, keep going.
So, okay, so here we are. I've went home, got ready, whatever, and we're gonna go to the party at your house. And it is me, my best friend who is a boy, and my best friend who is a girl. And we are in the car driving to your house, the three of us. You're already at home.
Okay,
You're not there.
the three of y'all.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like we're driving, we're talking, and then like right when we get there, I was like, "Oh, hey, by the way, I want to tell y'all something really exciting." Like you would tell your best friends things that were was exciting.
Of course.
And I said, I talked to Kathy earlier today, and we're going out now. I'm like, "What's up?" It's pretty cool, right? And then my guy friend, I almost said my boyfriend,
It's like, let's go, bro.
he was super excited, and my girlfriend didn't say anything at
Your
first.
friend who in
was a
theory was
girl.
your best friend.
And in hindsight, might have been my girlfriend.
Right.
But you didn't
Suddenly
know
was
about
like,
it.
She
well,
said
she's heartbroken.
she said nothing. And so we got out of the
She
car
drove.
and I'm waiting. Yeah, she's driving. So me and my friend get
Whoops.
out of the car and then she speeds off. And
She peels.
and when I say I'm confused, I'm legit confused.
No, I get
like
that,
I
bro.
honestly,
I
in
totally
hindsight,
get it.
I know what happened. But in
Right,
the moment,
but
I was
you were- how old
what
are you,
just happened?
Jason?
16?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so let's lay the premise. From 1920 until 2010, 16-year-old boys have no clue about love. I'm not suggesting they have a clue now. I just don't have a foundation to know. But back then, we had no clue. If some girl came up and said, "I like you just as a friend," but she threw herself at me, I would not have known the difference. I would have been like, I thought we were just friends, which is where you're coming from, right, Jason?
Yeah. So,
Okay, so keep going. So sorry.
Okay.
so she speeds off and then I'm legit confused. And then
Of course.
later on I find out and people, have conversations. And so
She was in love with you.
yeah.
She was hoping to marry you.
And
She
so
was
but
the
here's
girl that I was trying
And
to.
now she hates you, right, Kathy?
so
Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump the
You're
jump
jumping the
shark,
gun. Let
so.
him tell this story.
I tried matching them. Let's just say matchmaking them. I would spend the night at her house on the weekends, and he'd call her house I was thinking he was calling to talk to her. You don't remember this? Yeah, we were
I
talking
was
on the
calling
phone.
because I knew you were there.
We were talking on the phone, and she was so excited, but I thought he was calling to talk to her, and I was excited. It's like,
Jason, I can't believe you led this girl on.
Okay.
In fact, I would almost say
Listen,
you
you
committed
gotta-
sin. You need to call her. No, I'm just kidding.
So
Sorry, keep going. I apologize.
So where this is all leading to is we had been spending. So me and this other girl had been spending the summer together. So one of my friends was gone for a while. I forget why. The guy friend was gone for a while, and so me and this girl were hanging out. She worked at Target. She had a discount, which was fire, as the kids say these days. So she got like a 20% discount, which was great. And so like we would hang out. We go to Target. Like I get to her discount. I was still paying for my own clothes, right? But then like
she dressed him. She helped outfit him. Like seriously, they went shopping together.
But like I really enjoyed hanging out with her. Like
Yeah.
and it was just
No,
good friends.
I totally get it.
I had like I remember having a conversation with her on the phone that in hindsight she was trying to find out if I liked her, but I wasn't even thinking of it that way. It was like, hey, do you like any girls in our class? And then that's when I said that I liked you to her, and I thought I was like, oh, well, she's on my team. She's gonna be excited when she finds out that I'm. But I guess it from her perspective, which is the real perspective, I guess, from hanging out that summer, is we were spending probably every day together. Maybe 6 out of 7 days a week. We were spending 4 to 5 hours together during the summer. Like we were hanging out. But so first of all, Target discount. She was cool to hang out with, and it was just I wasn't.
She was going home at night and singing Bonnie Raitt.
Yes,
You know what song I'm talking about?
I don't know what song you're talking about.
I
Chad.
can't make you love me.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
If you don't.
I guess that's what was happening. Anyway, so she came with me like during the school year. She came with me to study hall.
This is
or not to study
your
hall.
junior year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's the summer between our junior and senior year.
So yeah, so I
Okay,
guess
all
right
right.
before our junior year ended, for finals, she was in a class that you were in, and she was going to go to the study group at someone's house. But I was with her already because we were spending every minute together, just hanging out. And she's like, "Hey, I could take you home, or you could just come hang out because everybody's going to be there hanging out." And I don't study anyway, and it wasn't in the class. I was like, "Yeah, I'll just go and hang out." So I go with her to her study group.
They show
Which,
up in his truck
from
together.
everyone else's perspective, it's like,
Y'all
oh,
are kind of
y'all are
he's showing up to her class,
kinda
he's not in.
dating.
But I knew that she was there, and she's in this. So I'm like, yeah, of course I'm gonna go.
So to you, y'all are good friends, and to her,
y'all are dating.
well, she probably didn't think they were dating. She just she
I mean,
He
we were
led on.
thought she loved you, and
Yeah.
yeah.
in hindsight, we were doing everything that if we had been dating, the
That you
dating
would have
people
been
would have been
done,
doing
right.
in a Christian school.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, we weren't holding hands, but we were talking.
You
and we
held
were,
hands?
But I mean,
no, we weren't holding.
Oh,
she was like, wait
Whoa,
a minute.
slow down.
This
That's
is the
right,
first
ladies and
time I've
gentlemen.
heard.
We almost saw the breakup of a.
I'm gonna go set my tent up outside.
So, time out. At a risk of jumping the gun, what year did y'all get married?
Ooh, test for you.
2007.
That's correct.
Let's just put it on the record that it took her a full 5 seconds to answer that question. 2007.
Boom.
So, what is that? 17 years?
I don't do math.
Yes, 17 this year.
You don't do math, really?
I mean, that's the principle of the thing.
Fair
I
enough.
will pull a calculator out to do
It
a tip
is-
for a
it's
$10 bill.
17. It will be 17.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
What time of year did y'all get married?
We got married in the summer.
What date?
We wanted to get married in Christmas,
So
but
it'll
we had
be
to move our wedding
17
up.
next
This summer, it will be 17.
This coming summer.
year? Well, I mean, okay.
June 9th, right? Now
you
I do.
You were trying to set
I would
up.
tell you a joke, but I'd be afraid it'd go over my wife's and Jason's wife's
Yeah.
heads.
Okay.
2 best days of life of getting married and then graduating high school. And
There you
graduating
go.
hhy school was June
Wait.
4th.
Why is that one of your two
goodness.
best days?
Because
Graduating
I didn't
high
have
school?
to go to school anymore.
He hates school.
School is the worst thing in the
But
world.
you went to college.
Yeah, because I thought I had to, and then I
Yeah.
found out later I didn't have to. But then
you
we were.
just okay. All right, whatever. Keep
All right,
going.
we're-
I
so
wasn't
sorry.
smart, okay?
Yes,
So,
you were.
I'm curious because in here, I heard that Kathy was trying to set up she was one of your best friends, right? But you
Yeah.
were trying to set her up with him, right?
Yes.
So you were trying to do this, and then Jason tells you that he likes you. So how that makes the situation complicated. How were you handling that?
How did you handle finding out that you betrayed one of your friends?
Well, I think I actually told Jason. Did I? Remind me. I know I talked to my parents of this is a complicated situation.
Yeah,
because
that's really complicated.
Well, the other aspect of that story that he didn't throw in there is she ended up being a maid of honor in our wedding. One of my best friends who lived with us liked him a lot.
So you had 2 girls that liked you.
And
it was more than 2, but
okay,
We'll go
3
with 2.
girls.
What can I say?
Yeah,
Okay,
Liked
our
him a lot.
wives married men that were catching up.
you say that they married up
okay.
Okay. All right.
because they're short. Okay.
Because of her and because of so the girl I was trying to set up with, she and I weren't best friends. We played basketball together. We weren't super we were good friends, but
but you weren't good enough friends to steal her boyfriend. Well, I mean, theoretically we were, but at the end of the day, finders keepers, losers weepers.
But my best
and she was crying. Okay, so
a lot of weepers in that school.
My best friend ended up going away for a week for a Christian summer camp, youth camp, and I couldn't because I was working, and so that's when I found out that he liked me and I liked him and revealed that I liked him.
Oh, so he didn't go and she went.
Correct.
I see.
So
that's when you stole him from her.
Well, that's when feelings were revealed and I told him, here's the thing, my best friend likes you and I will not continue this if she comes back and is still liking you and I'm going to have to deny my feelings for the sake of my friend.
And I was like, wait a second, somebody else likes me? Like, what?
And so I was just praying the whole week that God would give me the strength to say no to him if she it
wasn't going to happen. I know you're praying for it, but it's
right.
sometimes the answer is no.
My best friend, her name is Eugen. I hope she watches this. She'll laugh at this. She came back from youth camp. And she says, I have to tell you something. And I'm like, oh no. Because one of the things that she said.
You're thinking like she's about to say, I think God told me Jason is the one.
Right. Yeah. And you're going, I can't do it.
Because that's the thing. She was like, I'm going to go away. Because she was struggling with her feelings.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to go away. And when I'm away, I'm going to really spend time in the word and praying. And if this is something I need to pursue. Mm-hmm. And so that was one of her goals is to come back knowing and being settled in her mind. So she comes back and she's like, I need to tell you, I spent all week thinking about my feelings about Jason. And at the end of the week, it was super clear to me that I just want to be friends with him. He's a great guy. He loves the Lord, but I just want to be his friend. And I was like, really?
You're like, yes.
She's like, yes.
Nobody consulted me in any of this, by the way.
Okay, now I need to tell you something.
You knew after the fact.
She's like, what? I was like, well, so I've liked him for a little bit, but I've kept it down secretly because of you. And then the other friend I was trying to match him with, I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And so I kept it down but I really liked him and he told me he liked me and was going to talk to Dad. She called my dad as well. But if you don't want me to pursue this, I'm not going to do it. She's like, no, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. Anyway, so she was fine with it. And that ended up being the other friend. I'm sad to admit this. I didn't care as much. I didn't care as much what she thought.
All right. You weren't as close to her.
I wasn't as close.
Okay.
So I was willing to take the hit, and I ended up.
No, I get.
I ended up losing a friendship as a result of that, and not even just a friendship.
You gained a beard.
I ended up. We were gonna be the prom queen and king, but there was a lot of anger.
But there was too much drama.
So that a whole group of people were like, do not let this happen. And so I ended up being the prom queen, and then his best friend ended up being the prom king. And they put it was almost gonna be a 100% vote for him and I, but high school drama and gossip. We're not gonna let this happen.
I mean, at the end of the day,
Well, that
Who cares?
actually
I
kind
care a
of.
lot. I still think about it.
Do you really? I was about to say, Jason.
forgot that
Jason,
happened
you
until
got
now.
your queen, so I was thinking you were going to say something awesome like your best friend said. I really want a guy with a beard, and I don't think he can handle the beard or something like that. That would have been pretty magnanimous.
Yeah.
The thing with that other individual, I think I'm trying to remember the timeline, but it took me a long time to realize. Like I've told this story numerous times, like of where I was dating someone who didn't know it, right? And it took me a long time to realize what actually happened there. Like when I say that I was confused, like I had no idea. I assumed like an emergency just popped up, like, and then I mean, how long was it afterwards? Like a year or two when it like finally when it started clicking for me. Like, I guess in hindsight, whoops, maybe I didn't handle that very well.
I had something pretty similar. I had a girl ask me to homecoming when I think I was a sophomore. I had a small friend group that I ate lunch with every day, and a girl asked me, and she said just as friends, and so I took her at her word. And then when her brother came with us to homecoming, her older brother, I didn't understand the deal. And then, we went as friends, right? So I treated her like a friend. And then on the subsequent week, when one of our other friends was like, "You idiot, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?" And I was like, well, she said as friends. Like, I wouldn't do that to my friend. I would do it to my girlfriend. They're like, "You moron." No girl asks a guy as friends and means as friends. They mean as more than friends. And I'm like, well, I mean,
there's words that could communicate that if you wanted to use those next time.
I'm just a sophomore in high school. I'm a complete idiot. I don't know what you want out of me. Okay.
Yes, that's
in hindsight, God was protecting me because, I mean, had I been more suave and debonair, maybe I would have done something that would have jeopardized the potential to meet the woman that I'm now married to. So maybe had you been aware enough to understand what was happening, only bad things could have happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I never really thought about it that much, but I was not. I don't know how I would have reacted had I found that out earlier.
Right. So,
it probably would have been panic mode, like, oh, I'm not interested in this person in that way.
Maybe,
now maybe I don't want to hang out with them.
But there's a certain level of naivete. We use that word, naivete, but what it really
nativity.
means, what it really means is innocence, right? There's a certain level of innocence, and I imagine that's how Adam and Eve were before they started eating the fruit they weren't supposed to eat.
Yeah,
that's why suddenly they're like, "Oh my goodness, I'm not wearing any clothes," and it's only when that naivete is gone that we recognize. Oh man, I could have gotten into real trouble here if I hadn't had the naivete.
Yeah.
And thank God for those blinders, so to speak, to keep us from realizing something that would have jeopardized something beautiful that we could have years later. So.
Like you.
Okay.
That's right. I mean, I wouldn't go back and change anything. I'll say that much. There's plenty of mistakes along the way, but those mistakes have made us who we are at this point, right?
I mean, it'll be 30 years coming summer.
Next summer, yeah. Mm-hmm. So the summer of 24.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the song. I got my first real 6-string.
Bought it at the 5 in time.
Played it till my fingers bled.
It was the summer of 24. Doesn't quite rhyme, but
whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I don't know.
The best part is we both knew where we were going.
It'll be interesting.
So
you're welcome, by the way.
Okay.
For everything we're offering.
By the way, there's not many times where Jason and I sing together unless we're singing a particular song that has to do with power and spirits.
Yeah.
All right. So we ended up getting married. We were the same age as you two, but flipped because I'm older than Jason. So he
Cradle
was
robber.
Mm-hmm. We got married in June, so he turned 19 in July, and I was 21.
Okay. How old were you when your first child was born?
I'm pretty sure I turned 24 when Joshua was born.
Oh wow, you were good and old.
Because we were married for about 2.5 years when I found out I was pregnant.
Okay. How old were you when your youngest child was born?
I want to say 36.
Oh wow, you're
Yeah.
super old.
I'm super old.
I mean, to be fair, when our youngest child was born, I was not yet 30. No, that's not true. I was
were.
30. I was not yet 31.
Yeah.
But Ellen was only 28. so,
I mean, I had my first child when I was 21.
so when I went to go see the doctor about making sure that we couldn't have any more children, he was like, "You're pretty young. Are you sure about all that?" And I'm like, "I've had 3. I'm pretty sure, doc." You know. Are you double sure? Talk to my wife. Are you sure about that?
Yes.
You're only 28. Are you sure?
Yes.
Give me the scissors, okay? I'll do this myself.
Hey, at least he did it. I'm just kidding.
Hey! Wow.
Hey-oh.
Next
I will go on
episode.
record. That'll never happen ever. Ever.
A pointed and sharp shot.
No, I joked with him. This was a couple years ago when, we were talking about like how many children we would want to have and when that would end. And I just always assumed that he would snip. And he was like, no, who assumes
Wait,
that?
time out.
That is not on my vision board.
For all the things I know about Jason, I never imagined he was skilled enough to go cut your tubes.
Then you imagined wrong.
Wait, did you mean something else? Oh, you meant him to
Yes.
snip. Wait, is he supposed to cut his own tubes? I don't know how that works. You meant go see a doctor.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm just catching on.
And
now.
he was like, why would you
We have
assume
Google?
that? I'm like, because I'm the woman and I carried the babies.
Wow.
And the one.
And I had 3 C-sections. Anyway,
And I had 0, and that was intentional.
Good point.
all of that to say.
Someday, not on this podcast, I will tell the story about my vasectomy. No,
I know the story.
Whoops. Apparently, I've said a little bit too much tonight. I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness. On that note,
That vasectomy
So
really
until
took.
next time.
No,
Sorry,
wrong.
wrong podcast.
Did you just hit yourself with the microphone? You're not supposed to do that.
Always.
oh my
Anyway,
goodness.
when I asked Jason if he would do anything different, he always says, I would have married you sooner. And I'm like, are
Aw.
you being crazy? You would have been 17 if we got married.
I mean, to be fair,
To be fair,
what 17-year-old wouldn't like to be? Never mind.
well,
I had to book. So when I had to book our honeymoon, I told them over the phone because I wasn't old enough,
Right.
and then hey, so technically your
I
website
thought you were
says
19.
I think when I was booking the honeymoon, I was 18. And then you had to be over 18 according to this website, whatever. And so I was actually 18. When we got married, I was 19. So when I was pre-booking it, I was like, hey, so I'm not old enough according to your website to do this. And they're like, what's happening? I was like, I'll be 19 when I'm there. They're like, oh, that's fine. Come on.
You know why they said that's fine,
They
Jason?
wanted my money.
No, that's not why. How old are you on the day that you're 18? 18, right?
Yeah.
How old are you on the day after?
18 in that day.
Yeah. Hey, so guess what? When you're 18, you're 18. If you're over 18, it's any number beyond.
Okay. All right. That's what it was.
They took your money
I was like,
because
wait a minute, hold on.
you were over 18. when you
I was
tried
getting
to-
confused.
This is not as hard of a question as he's setting it up today.
As we all look at you like,
My son's
what?
calling me, so I need to figure out what's going on.
Is this your
Pardon me
youngest
for a
son?
moment. It doesn't matter. Yes, it's my youngest. Pardon me.
Okay.
Oh, you're fine.
Excuse us.
Hello.
Anyway, all of that to say, good job telling our story.
Did I do it right?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure when I shared our story, I may have added a lot more detail, but that's fine.
I feel compelled to tell the story of at our honeymoon. When
Hey,
we walked into
hey. Be careful.
when we walked into that store, just to give an example of how young we were
No, and how naive I was.
and how we went to a Christian school and had no idea what we. Okay, so
Here's the thing. Pause for a second.
Listen, I just want to know I love Jesus, and I don't know what they're about to say.
Like, I'm a confusing person because before Jesus, I would not have been naive. Like,
Okay.
I've seen it all.
You're on a path to debauchery.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
And then when I was adopted, it was like, which I understand why this happened. It was like these incredible boundaries and walls were put around me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't do all of these typical things to protect what I've already just we got to protect her at all costs, right? So
It was the jean jumpers that
okay.
wiped the
So
slate
from
clean.
13 until I was married, it's almost like God wiped all of that from my memory.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really what happened, but I was super naive going into our wedding in some ways. Some ways I wasn't, but going into it, and then when we got on our honeymoon, Jason feels like he needs to tell this story.
So
Uh-oh.
So booking our honeymoon, it was like, I forget the conversation exactly of how we decided where to go, but I think it was something like, hey, Google, what's the cheapest possible honeymoon? Like
That's
within
in driving
distance of where we are. Right. So we ended up in like the 60s and older newly married wedding capital of the world, Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And
That's funny.
so that's where we ended up. And so we have a cabin there and we're like driving around the town. We're just looking at, like, what can we do around here? And we see
Nothing.
so
Sorry.
yeah, basically.
I think it was called Love Cupid.
Yeah, there was like Cupid's shack or Cupid's love something, whatever it was. We're like, because there's so many people that like older people who are just getting married and they're all going to this place, and so we're like, oh, that's probably like legitimately in my head, my thought was this is a honeymoon shop. Like they'll have which we can't. Okay, good. They can see. So I don't know what I'm expecting, but honestly, it wasn't what I got. So
I can imagine.
So we walk in, we open the door, we walk in and just stop in the front and we kind of look around.
We go to the front aisle where things are facing, and I'm starting to look, and then
And I'm like, this was not in my church library. I don't know. What is this, McGee and me? No. So, but then we're confused. So we stop, we look around, and we're there for like 3 or 4 seconds, just not walking in.
Right.
And then, and then all of a sudden,
in awe.
yes, confusion. Oh, yes. And then all of a sudden we hear,
Look at the size of that.
Oh my gosh, y'all.
this is truly what was going on.
So then we're kind of in shock, like not sure what's going on. Like, is this one of those things when you walk into a small town bookstore, you have to walk around to pretend you're interested or it's rude, you know? But we're like, what's happening? And then all of a sudden I hear, excuse me. And then I turn around and I was like, who said that? And there's like a woman behind the counter. And I look, and I was like, that's not a woman. It was, and so it was.
And then he said,
That's right.
You're too young to be in here.
He said, when were you born? When were you born? She said, I don't know how you, I mean, it was a dude with clothes on.
Yeah.
Good thing he had clothes on, I guess. But it was very,
yeah.
It was not like, I thought it was going to be this like really cute love fun store. Like, I don't even know what I like.
That's
what's weird to me is we've told the story so many times. I don't know what we were expecting, but it wasn't that. But I don't know.
And then I was like, after we left, I was like, what do they even use that for? What this thing that I saw? What do you use? Like, my mind was
It was a VHS tape. We're like, oh,
what do you use that
we've
for?
never seen
my
a VHS
goodness.
tape.
Oh my
my
goodness.
mind was just like going, and like I saw this spiky necklace. I'm like,
Let's
Sorry.
not describe what you saw, okay? There are potentially children in the background of the people who are listening. So.
Oh my goodness.
anyway, all that. To
You
say,
saw really crazy stuff outside of the norm of your small town Illinois upbringing.
The dude with women's clothing and makeup behind the counter, who he then asked, when were you born? And you had to rattle off because it was like, I mean, she looked like she was 12, right?
Okay.
No, I get that. I mean, to be fair, when my wife was pregnant with our son, she looked like she was 12.
Yeah.
You should have seen the dirty
he got
looks.
the dirtiest
the dirty
looks
looks
from
I got.
people.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, it's not like I looked really old. I mean, I was 23
But you could have looked 18 and with a 12-year-old, a pregnant 12-year-old walking around.
Right. That's exactly what
Suspect.
happened with somebody that looked like they were 12. I was getting the business every time we went somewhere. Okay. Well, there we go. Sorry, while we do some mechanical fixing.
So you got, was it the whole pregnancy you got dirty?
I mean,
Oh,
for
yeah,
the
pretty
most
much.
part.
Yeah.
And the irony is, it didn't bother me so much as it bothered Ellen.
Yeah.
So Ellen is 20. She was 20 when she got pregnant. She was 21 when she had our son. But I remember people would look at us in the mall, and it's the first time in my life I ever got terrible, dirty looks. And Ellen would almost be like, she would wear her ring on
my
a necklace.
fingers got swollen.
Her fingers got swollen. She couldn't wear her wedding ring. And she'd pull it out and be like, "We're married!" You know, like, and I'm over there like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, but so this tells you how young she looked. She was probably, I don't remember when it was your family came to visit us, Ellen. You were 4 months pregnant, 5 months pregnant.
5 months pregnant.
She's 5 months. My wife is 5 months pregnant. And we go to eat at a restaurant in Phoenix, Arizona. And we go in, and her little brother is with us. And by little, I mean he was 9. And he looked 7.
Okay.
And when we get there, they're like, "Do you want 1 children's menu or 2?"
That still happens. Though.
Yeah. No, I know. And my wife was 5 months pregnant. So let me just tell you how the rest of that dinner went. No, we just want 1. Thank you very much.
1 is what I said.
Yeah.
And then I happened to just, because I had my arms around, I just took my arms off of my stomach, and she looked at me for the first time and goes, "Oh."
Right.
So the baby doesn't need a kids menu?
That just tells you how
Face
young
turned
she
red.
looked. The lady at the restaurant thought she needed a kids menu.
Well, somebody at HEB, they didn't give you a sample. You had to ask for your parent.
Oh.
That was last week, right?
I was going to
That
say,
was last week.
part of that is because our wives look like they could be
Baking cookies in a tree?
Oompa-Loompas.
Okay.
So.
Did you just call us Oompa Loompas?
No, I did not. I said you look like you could be Oompa Loompa.
That's the
There's
same
a
But you
difference.
are.
No, it's not.
Are the
Oompa Loompa doopity doo.
Look, you baked a dozen cookies in a tree before. That's all we're saying.
Did you just compare me to the?
Keebler elves? Yes, Keebler elves.
Wow.
To be fair. You are redhead.
Okay,
I
somebody
know,
may be
that's why I'm
sleeping
like, did
outside
you
tonight.
just compare me to the Keebler elf, who's a
I
redheaded?
would never compare my wife to the Keebler elves.
I'm waiting for it.
You were all waiting. You're like, what's next?
I just don't think you're that tall.
There it is.
Okay,
We got it.
ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to offer a free bed to a man who is homeless,
For 2. Right? Oh,
anyway.
my goodness.
regardless. Well, thank you, ladies, for having us on.
Yeah,
Well,
thanks
thank
for
you.
coming on. You guys passed.
Yes.
Of
Yeah.
course we did. Why? Because it's
I don't know, because a
Jason
lot.
and Big Bad Chat.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you for joining us this evening. We're growing together in grace. I'm Kathy.
I'm Ellen.
And thank you to our guests, Jason and Chad, for joining us.